Buy these 4-pound boxes of plaster. It's $5 for that much. It's very cheap in the craft section, readily available. There are other kinds of plaster you can get. Some are more expensive, but are more scientific grade. But this works great, and I have a cast over there if you'd like to see it.
About how much is something like that? That box,
this
about how
box
much?
is $5.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
It's cheap, yeah. And it's also, I'm sure, anything that a place that does crafts. Yeah, it's just plastic crafts. A lot of people have the hobby to pour animal tracks. It's a great hobby. You get to learn about biology and find the world around us. So just, if you don't find a Bigfoot track, you still are going to be able to use this. This is a great hobby. So the easiest way to do this, and the simplest kit you could ever have, is just a bottle of drinking water and 2 of these. There's 4 of these in a box. They're 1-pound containers full of plaster of Paris. Easy stuff. It's about like your lunch would be if you were out in camp.
Right.
It doesn't take up a lot of room. So what we're going to do, it's in the bag. That's important too. You've got to have your bag. Okay. What you're going to do is you're going to get out your plaster. Now, some of you that are my age have seen a lot of episodes of Miami Vice. So, right? If the game warden comes up to you,
Don't try to get on the plane
don't
with
grab
that.
them up to you and say, and run or anything. They look like it's a chalky substance. You can feel it. It's just like it's just powder. That's all it is. Now, one thing I'm going to need before we do this is a footprint. Could I get you to volunteer? Can you take your shoe off? You'll have to take your sock off. What's your name? I'm Eric. Just step right in the middle. Don't be afraid to put some weight on it. Can you push down? Down above your foot. Just, deeper the better. There we go. Oh, that's still pretty shallow. Tell you what.
Yeah, you gotta push on
You
it.
don't think?
Yeah,
I push your
200
foot?
pounder.
Yeah, we got it's working better. And I'll show you what we're doing is we're going to make it artificially larger. So if we were actually, that looks good. Ooh. So what we'll do now, usually you wouldn't disturb the print, but let me get you some paper. We'll pull it up here for you.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks for being a good sport about it. We're going to have our material out here. This will be on the ground, obviously. Take a lot of pictures before you touch anything. Take a lot of pictures.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Because there's a chance the cast won't work.
Right.
A lot of things can go wrong. There's a few ways to do this. Some people will mound the earth up around it so they can get a much thicker cast. And that'll look more like this when it's done. Now this is my footprint.
Oh, that's not
This is not Bigfoot.
the official.
I've only got one.
It's a skinny Bigfoot.
But they'll put these kind of dams. They'll build one of these around the foot, or they'll mound dirt up around the foot, and then they'll pour into that. That way, they have this thick piece here that's really convenient when you're packing it out.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what that looks like. What we're going to do is more like Littlefoot over here's footprints. We did these a couple of days ago. There's Littlefoot right there.
Littlefoot?
This is what this looks like. We're going to just pour directly into the imprint, and it's going to create something like this. Now, this is what I did with the strange animal track I found, and I do prefer this method. It's delicate. It's hard to get out easily. You got to be careful. But I find that the longer it sets, the better it holds together. So if you've got time to leave it and go back, this works out pretty well. But you can see the weight distribution, right? I mean, you got some weight in the toes. I like that. With these, you can still do that. But, I mean, you know, you've got this in the way. You have to imagine.
Yeah.
So I like this, and a lot of people do like that way. Great thing about this stuff. Oh, and just to show you, in my bigger pack, I'll carry around some duct tape, and this is when I'm packing things up. Some rubber bands, but these are it's just
Where do you get them from?
This is just poster board paper I cut and straight up.
I got you.
It's just real easy. And it fits right down in your your tape.
But you don't need that unless you're making
Unless you're doing this. If you're going to be out a long way, it's better to have a big bag like this that you can wrap stuff in cardboard and preserve it to walk out, because it can get a little bit dicey if you're climbing a lot. So there are ways to wrap it up.
Bear shows up, you gotta go.
Right. Now, what I was telling you is, you know how we moved your foot around? This is the same foot, but this one looks a lot bigger, doesn't it? Or at least the size of it, because I did the same thing with my son. I moved him around. I was trying to get it. This is the foot just normal, right? This was just a little bigger because we moved it around. It's something to think about when you see multiple footprints. You might think, well, these are different animals. They might not be. It could just be the way the animal shifted in the ground. Right?
I was thinking they just walked straight.
Well, different soil spots are wetter or looser soil, you know, so if an animal is walking, it might look like several individuals, but it could just be one, depending on where he's stepping, how he's shifting his foot, right? So it's just something to think about. So we got our stuff. For something this size, it's just going to take one. There's our plastic bag.
A couple says it'll take 12.
Well, if you got something huge, right, it's going to take 4.
He's going to stick it. He's probably going to stick it to the box.
Oh, is that fact? Something really huge is
Oh
for
yeah,
it?
he might take the whole box. Yeah.
Okay.
But this size kit, 2 pounds and 1 bottle of water, is going to probably cover anything.
Okay.
Unless you're doing multiple tracks. You know, if you're trying to preserve multiple tracks, it is good. Usually you just use your pocket knife, but we're going to cut this puppy open. It's going to go here. The first thing you want to do is pour your water in. Now, for one bag of this, 1 pound, the box says 2 parts of this to 1 part water. I'm trying to make it easy, and this is easy. You pour half a bottle of your drinking water. These are about 500 milliliters. Some of them go up to 600 milliliters, depending on what brand you get. About half this is all you need. I'm going to need your help. Oh, you got your hands.
No.
No.
What you do, you're going to just sprinkle it in. It'll dump a little bit. Just try to sprinkle it in a little bit. And I'm going to hand it to you. We're going to get as much air as we can in. Close it. As much air.
That means power.
Now, knead it together. You got it? Squeeze it together. You want it to be like pancake batter. But thinner is going to pick up more detail. Thicker is sometimes easier, especially if you're using some kind of a dam around it. It kind of plops in there. There are some things you have to be careful about there. You feel any lumps? Can't get all lumps out. Don't leave me no lumps. Let me see how you doing. I feel some lumps in the corner. Get that out of there. How's it doing? How's it doing? How we doing? I think you've done a great job. So now,
Good job.
take your corner. And again, this is one of the easiest ways to do this. It helps when you don't have any air in there. If you got a pocket knife, you got to lean it up against the log. You know, I didn't want to, you don't want to mess the tables up. So again, I know none of y'all are going to have a pair of scissors out in the woods. Anybody do pastry? Anybody make pastries or anything? No?
It's the same as.
No moms do pastry here. No dads. No.
We're all the outdoorsy type women.
You get what I'm about to do, right?
Let's get
When
around
they
it
do
for you.
cakes, they'll use a bag and they'll squeeze.
It's like
the batter
piping
on.
frosting.
That's all we're going to do. We're going to get. We're just going to try to get as close as we can without really disturbing anything. Right? And we're going to start pouring in there.
That does look like a pancake.
It looks like frosting.
It does, doesn't it? So we're going to start pouring in there.
We're gonna have foot
If
pancakes.
you try to eat this, your guts will be rock hard. Doctor won't know, and that's okay if it kind of gets out of focus a little bit. We
All
got to
these
look
bees is blueberries.
now.
Blueberries.
I don't think that one tastes like blueberry.
This is going to be a little bit more than we need. If you have multiple tracks, you can usually get like something that size, 1.5 out of it. Something like that. It's very important that we don't mess the woods up, right? So you're going to want to pack all this out. It's nothing. It's not a big deal. Just put it in another plastic bag or something like this. It's gone. You're taking it with you. This is going to take about 30 minutes to set. If it's real cold, it might be up to an hour. If it's rainy conditions, it'd be nice if you had something to kind of lean over. It's not going to set as well. You know, the rain's going to cause markings and stuff like that. You can smooth this over a little bit if you're careful, and you can write the date, you not the location, you can put your initials. If you have a sequence, you can number them, and that can be helpful.
Yeah.
You want to do as much with the photography as you can to preserve the scene. Think of it as a forensic scene. Think of it as a crime has just happened. Even though nothing bad's happened here, this is exciting, right? This is a good thing. But you want to document as much as you can before you start walking in there, right? You want to try to get angles that have certain trees that are really identical. Because you might come back. Might want to come back and show people what you found. So you're never going to have another chance to get it exactly like it was when you found it. Then
So
you
it
start
doesn't
pouring your
disturb
cap.
the print?
Right. You don't want to disturb the prints or even the story. The way the feet have, the way this animal has moved around tells a story. Why is he going over here and then over here? Is there a rock overturned here? You can learn about something's diet. You can learn about, what they do in the greater habitat, the number of individuals. There's a lot you can learn just by looking. And if you can't, other people might be able to do it. So preserve the scene as much as possible before you begin to take evidence. I would say that this is one of the easier things you can do other than photography. And there's just nothing to it. It doesn't take a lot of weight. This is the kit. If some of you missed it, a bottle of water will do both these. So if you have a bigger print, if you do come up on something crazy, my kit does include about a 2-quart little, this thing's not going to get messed up in my pack. And I love paint stirrers because one thing you can do is when you're pouring a lot in, sometimes it will put an impression into the soil, and when it comes out, it looks like there's a finger sticking where the pour went, right? Mm-hmm. So when you mix up 2 bags of this and get the lumps out, it's very nice to be able to kind of pour against and you can get a little closer. These bags are great because, the corner of that bag, you can just real gently, there's not a drop. So that can be very helpful when you're using something like this to have a paint stirrer, but you can get a stick in the woods. You don't have to carry all this. This is something, since that happened to me, I like to be a little bit prepared because once you find something, you want to find something else. Yeah. That's been 2 years. I've found nothing else. I've put up game cameras. I've set out apples. There's just not been anything else. But it happened to me that one time that's changed my life a little bit. It's very exciting to think that there could be something in the woods we don't know about. Yeah. We pull things out of the ocean pretty frequently. Oh, yeah. Every 10 years or so, we find out the giant squid, right? Yeah. We know that's the case now. I remember when the coal camp was pulled out. The fish that could walk on, we thought that had been extinct for millions of years. There's no reason to think that with the biodiversity we enjoy on this planet, there aren't plenty of animals we haven't discovered. And when it happens, it's exciting, but it's usually smaller stuff. If we were to find something big, something intelligent in North America, I think it would just really wake a lot of people up to the possibilities in their own lives even. Yeah. Nothing is impossible. Mm-hmm. You've just got to look, you've got to try your hardest in life, and you just never know what's going to happen. So that's how Bigfoot changed my life.
That's cool. Yes, sir.
2 years ago. I have this book. It's over by the cast if you want to look at it.
Which county was it?
I'm selling them to cover it was here. It was actually, you want to hear that story? 2 years ago, my son and I make these little crawfish traps out of food containers. It's a whole other story. I used to do a lot of outdoor stuff, and I like to make traps and things, but we love crawfish, and we don't live in Louisiana. So we capture them, and on our little route, we came upon these tracks, and I took a lot of pictures because I had a phone with me.
That's exciting. Your son was with you.
Yeah. And then about 10 days later, in the same general area up on land, I found another one. And I had never taken a cast before. Never. And I was so excited, I made my wife ride with me to Walmart, and we found this. And so I'm not an expert, I'm just some guy. And that's who solves stuff like this. Just some family on a picnic. Or
random, yeah.
The first person that gets 100% irrefutable evidence about Bigfoot or any other cryptid is probably going to be a regular person. Mm-hmm. You see experts here talking that have been doing this all their lives, but we're so many eyes out there and so many cell phones, right? It's bound to happen. The first UFO, if that's real, the first people that meet aliens are going to be the
farmers,
Smiths, right?
Yeah.
It's just going to be a regular person, and that's beautiful. about discovery. Discovery doesn't happen all the time in a lab. Most of the time, it actually happens with human experiences, right? So just be open to it and be ready. Be ready to take a picture, okay?
Be ready
Take
with
a lot of pictures.
plaster
if you see
of
something
Paris.
strange.
Do you ever use saran wrap to put it down first and then the cast?
No.
Pick up the rocks?
Well, that's a great idea, but part of the story, I think, is the rocks.
So
I think this was a riverbed. This was a wet area, but you got more rocks and sand, and you could take this cast back to the area it was taken, and you could match the sediment. So if somebody actually took this and said, I want to take this as part of a bigger study, but we have to authenticate it. They're going to take this and go to the area you said you found it and take samples and see if it matches up, because there's a lot of weird stuff out there.
yeah, I didn't.
And so in my mind, it would create a much smoother, more beautiful
Yeah, I
cast.
thought
Though
you'd
you're
get a
right.
better,
It would be
cast of the
prettier
foot.
as a wall hanger.
Is there any type of soil or ground that this doesn't work good with that you know of?
Beach sand if it's not wet. Now think about that when you walk on the beach.
Yeah.
You look back and there's that story of I look back and he was carrying me. That's such a beautiful poem. But
Yeah.
you look back, it's not really pronounced footprints. It's indentions because the sand falls back in.
Yeah.
Now that's a great question, because what happens with people that are really into this and forensics experts have sprays that they can put on things. Beach sand's not going to preserve it, but you get over into the damp part, where the side's going out, you can get a good track.
Okay.
But a lot of tracks are in dust. I mean, or really, really dry material, dry sand.
Yeah.
That's you can see it. I mean, think of a nice layer of dust, and you put your hand in. That can be preserved, but people will put hairspray, cheap hairspray
What
on
if
it.
it's on
Oh,
gravel?
wow.
What if it's on gravel?
Gravel,
If it's
you're
on
not going to
gravel,
get. You're going to get
the
more
big chunks
pressure,
will
but
come
you
out.
won't get.
won't
Yeah,
get
you
foot.
will get chunks, or a flower bed. You'll get mulch. Big pieces of mulch will be in there.
Because I was
But
thinking
try
about
anyway.
like the desert.
If it's
you know?
noticeable, because somebody
New
that
Mexico,
does this,
so.
somebody that's really into this can look at even a beach footprint and make an estimate about the size of that animal.
Okay.
An interesting thing to note too is it's very difficult to guess a height and weight from a footprint. And
I thought they did it from the indention.
Yeah.
They do,
indention from
but
walking.
so many different kinds of soil, moisture, temperature go into this. And an anecdote I'll share with you is
I
they've been trying to track elephant populations in Africa. They've been trying to learn about the weight, the size of the individuals in these groups of elephants. And they have put all this money into trying to create formulas, mathematical formulas, and all this stuff, and they could not get within even they couldn't get very close.
Yeah.
So what they ended up doing is going to the poachers. As terrible as that sounds, a poacher that's been killing elephants all of his life can guess within 50 to 100 pounds from a track, because they've been in that environment, they know the soil types. Human experience is just hard to replace mathematically, technologically, and so when I hear somebody make estimates, and even I've tried to make some estimates of how heavy the thing that I've tried to track is and how tall, I'm just going by human examples. A hunter would probably be able to guess a lot closer. So if you have friends that are hunters, if you have friends that get out there every year and they go up to Canada and they're, killing stuff, they're probably going to have a pretty good idea based on any track, human or otherwise. Also, law enforcement. I've talked to a lot of police that have been through forensics programs. They can tell you a lot, but they're really quick, too, to say it's a guess. It's always a guess. So, pictures are important. If these people that have been lucky enough to actually see something, wow. I hope you've learned a little bit. You think you could do this? Yeah.
If you're not too scared to go out there and look, right?
That's right. You can do it. I know you can. Well, who are you with? Where's your family?
He's with me. He's with my wife. It's a
You got
grandson.
brothers and sisters or anything? Are they here with you? You think this would be something you'd try at home?
Yes.
Okay, well here, you take this kit home.
Aww.
Oh, wow.
This, with both of these, you split it, okay? If you want to do a great big one, just one time, just do a great, have him stand somewhere. You can probably get both his feet. Mix this whole thing with these two. Try to get all the knots out of it, okay? All right?
What to say?
Don't spill it in the car to make a mess. My father.
And don't try it on your sister.
Well, you can make her walk around. If you made her do like a trail,
Let one of us be there with you.
another good idea. Let's do it. Make some prints of yourself and give them for free. After about a day, you can paint on this.
Okay.
So he can paint it, he can do whatever he wants to do. But it will be, if you do it this way, it's going to be kind of thin. So one thing I do is I'll carry pieces of cardboard with me and some newspaper. And the way I'll wrap them up in some newspaper. Just kind of be careful. Wrap them up. And this is how I pack stuff out. And I've only ever found one. I've got a lot of pictures, and then later I found one that I could cast about 10 days later. But we do animals sometimes. Okay. And I'll wrap them up and I'll take them. Or sometimes I use rubber bands. I turned this the wrong one.
See if you're quick.
And I just put them in my bag. I carry bags like this because they have these sections in them. This is a lot, and these are pretty handy too. You know, if you pack them good, that gives a lot of. It's like a splint. You're building a splint around a broken leg. You just want to protect this, and sometimes they break. But more than not, you get them all pretty safe. I set them in the sun on a dry day or two, and after that, I can rinse them with water, anything. I keep a couple of little brushes. This is an all shaving brush. Once they get once they dry, they're going to have a lot of dirt on them. And don't do this in your mama's. Don't go home and do it in their kitchen, okay? Something like that. Or take it outside after about a day or two. And you can start to wipe off. It'll be caked with dirt when it comes out. You just wipe it off with a stiffer brush. I've had people say, don't use animal hair. Because if an animal hair falls in there, somebody might be, oh, it's a Bigfoot hair. Right. This is actually, I think, hog hair, so but yeah, I mean, those work pretty good. Just if somebody wants to spend money on a DNA test, you say, now wait, I brushed it.
It's here right here.